That's unfortunate, but I like it because it works you Africans. Africans are a disgrace to ourselves. Why do you have to depend on the outside for everything? Life, you depend on the outside. Why? So, even before this crisis, I was always struggling with our people.
So guys, this video we're about to watch is here in this video. Watch it in its entirety. It's like 8 minutes, but watch it. It's gonna worth it. Here's Malema. Not Malema. He's on my mind. That's why. Museveni, the president of Uganda. He's basically lambasting African leaders and citizens that saying, why do we need the West? Why we run to the West? We need to be self-sufficient. And he's including himself in this. He's not excluding himself because he was like this, but he's changed over the years, and he's now defiant when it comes down to the West. He's a revolutionary. But so that no one want to come and say, why didn't he do this? He's already putting this in practice, because he's one of the most targeted presidents right now on the continent with sanctions in this country. So listen to the video and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Boom.
That the whole of the African countries is just asleep, waiting to be saved by others. If they don't save us, we shall die, like happened with the slave trade. How can this be? Slave trade went on here for 400 years. These idiot chiefs were here just putting on monkey skins and so on, looking like clowns. So therefore, although this is bad, but me, there is a good thing in it, to wake up the Africans. Africans are a disgrace to ourselves. Why do you have to depend on the outside for everything? Life, you depend on the outside. Why? This pandemic, as the German professor was saying, has brought out some good efforts like this one here, but also brought out bad things in the world. However, me, I like the bad things. I like, it's bad, but somehow it wakes up the Africans. Africans sleep too much. You know my orientation. I have never believed in independence. For the last 60 years, I've been struggling against that. In the government, when we were outside the government, in the resistance, we were always striving to depend on ourselves. Therefore, this unfortunate phenomenon where people have vaccines and they say, no, we must first vaccinate our own people. That's unfortunate, but I like it because it works you Africans. Africans are a disgrace to ourselves. Why do you have to depend on the outside for everything? Life, you depend on the outside. Why? So, even before this crisis, I was always struggling with our people. Ebola started here. We are the ones who suffered from Ebola. Why would anybody else develop the vaccine not of Ebola, not ourselves? Why? This is a big shame for Africa. And within the government, you know what we are doing. We must develop, and we are developing with our funding, Uganda government funding, a pathogenic industry to make even a business out of our diseases. If we are the ones with the diseases, why don't we make a business out of them? At the same time as we provide the cure. Now, the only thing I want from outside, if the vaccines come, good. If they come, we shall welcome them. But more importantly, we are developing our own vaccine. And I've been following every day what our people are doing. And they can do it. They have the knowledge. We have trained you. Many of you are highly educated. Ugandans started education long ago, modern education. The only little issue I would like to ask from our German friends and other friends, if they want to help, are sometimes the raw materials for this vaccine. Because of the economies of scale, sometimes it is not economic to produce every raw material, every input. It is sometimes cheaper and quicker to get some of the inputs from outside. So give us those inputs. But my people have been getting problems. It seems some people don't want Africa to stand up. So I'm glad you have this organization. You discuss, frankly. Let's get the support of we shall pay. We don't want to. For me, I don't want any donation. No, I will pay. But if I want my people, for instance, I will give you one example. My people wanted cells to grow the virus here. These cells apparently originally came from the African green monkey. Apparently the green monkey has got some cells which are good for growing the virus. So, clever outsiders took the cells and multiplied them. So when I quarreled with my people, you people, how can you sit here as if you are imbeciles? That we are dying, we are waiting for foreigners to come and save us. We shall die until the foreigners come to save us. What sort of people are you? And you are trained. It is the orientation. It is a slave mentality. My people now started trying to get the cells now. There are nowhere in Africa. You can imagine in the whole of Africa, there were no these green monkey cells, which originally came from Africa. And my people started looking here, looking there, looking there. A lot of struggle. And some were wondering, you Africa, what do you want the cells for? You stay there and wait for other people to make the vaccines. I said, no.
So guys, you see in the video where Museveni is talking about how COVID exposed the world for the good and the bad, where they try to, they said they're gonna vaccinate one people first, and then they said that African countries we'll give you the surplus and we'll donate and you cannot, and all like that. And what he's saying, why is it African countries cannot do and invent their own vaccines? They can, but why they don't? And then because of outside influence and the big pharmaceutical. And we're moving away from that now. Finally, with what's going on in other continent right now, with the uprising of the African continent, you have more and more African leaders and more citizens are realizing that they don't need the West and the West need us more than how we need them. So that's good. It's come to fruition finally. So he's saying we need to start do all of these stuff in get our own vaccines, feed ourselves, turn it is a business. All these diseases that they are, and one thing I didn't agree with him with was Ebola, when he said Ebola started in Africa. Ebola was an experimental disease that they use African countries to see the effect. That's my belief. No one can tell me otherwise. Same thing with elephantitis and all these diseases that they say originated in Africa. For me, it's pharmaceutical designed diseases to test on African countries, and especially the poor areas. And then they want to come and say they are safe and they have the vaccine, but it's business, basically. That's what I think. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Boom.